They say get all you want, so I'ma get what I asked for. And people think I'm the shit, that's why they call me an asshole. Nowadays it's about money, 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 but it's bigger than the cash though. And we can end it on that.
Boy, mind floating all way, smoking, never choking, but continuously toking. Tuning back in for another one, and this one is a little bit different, yo. Just a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? But look, let's go ahead, spark up. Do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? I've already rolled up. Got some biscotti cookies. You know what I'm saying? Got that biscotti. You know what I mean? That biscotti. That shit is fire. That biscotti. You know what I'm saying? But look, let's go ahead. Let's light up. And basically, what this one is about to be about, bro, is my tips. Not even tips. It's really just kind of one big tip that I think everybody who is looking to explore the world of cannabis should do. All right? And the reason that I feel like this is a tip for any and everybody is because I find myself repeating this a lot. I find myself saying this same thing a lot. All right? So I felt like it was time to just kind of do a video about it, just kind of get it out there. And, you know, hopefully you guys take the advice and use it and it works for you. If not, hey, you know what I'm saying? It may not be for everybody, you know what I'm saying? Because personally, I don't necessarily do this, but there was a time that I did. All right? But here's my advice, bro. So the reason that what prompted me to do this is, like I said, I was getting a lot of messages from people from all over the place, just asking my opinion on how to go about using cannabis full time and getting off of, you know, their prescription drugs. And like I'm not a professional doctor, you know what I'm saying? I do not have a degree in you know, I don't have a doctor's degree, right? So I'm not a doctor. I cannot give anybody legal advice on you know what I'm saying, getting off of their prescribed drugs, right? Because I'm not a doctor. I'm not here to do that. But my advice to people, if you are trying to get off of that stuff and you'd rather use, you know, herb, go a little bit more of a natural way, then my advice to you is to use a weed journal, bro. Start a weed journal. I find myself telling people this a lot. And that's why I felt like it was just kind of like I said, it was time to just do a video. And basically what I mean by start a weed journal, fire, is to literally write down and record every interaction that you have with cannabis. Any way, shape, or form. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter if your interaction was flower, concentrates, edibles, whatever. Like, write it down. You know what I'm saying? Keep a little fucking track for yourself, like a little record of that stuff for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, our bodies are so chemically different. We're all made up so differently. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to like the actual chemical balances of this all. And you know what I'm saying? Like, that I cannot literally just be like, hey, this strain is going to do this for you. Like, that shit is, you cannot do that. That's why when people ask me like, oh, do you like to smoke indica or sativas more? Like, if I'm going to play into like the generalization of that question, like, all right, well, I typically smoke more sativas. But on the other hand, though, just knowing how much weed I've smoked, how many different strains I've tried from both indica, sativa, hybrid, like I've found stuff that works for me within all of those realms, bro. I found stuff that worked for me that was labeled a sativa. I found stuff that worked for me that was labeled indica. I found stuff that worked for me that was labeled hybrid, bro. So I stopped buying weed off that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I started literally focusing on what I was attracted to when I went into a dispensary. You know what I'm saying? What attracted me? And basically, like, when I started realizing that that's what I was doing, that I was kind of just buying weed off of what I knew already, you know, I liked, you know, similarity, like strains that were similar to other strains that I liked. I started finding myself enjoying cannabis a lot more as just a regular consumer, as a recreational user, but then as someone who also uses cannabis to just kind of cope with, anger problems, like, because I do have a very short fuse when, when I have it. Like, I never know when my fuse is gonna be fucking just too short to handle. But to try to combat that, I do smoke a lot of cannabis to just deal with that. You know what I'm saying? That now, I don't necessarily have anxiety, but like I said, I deal with like the the anger problems and shit. There's a lot of emotions there that I always like. I just have to always make sure to keep them in check. Period. Right. But through my experiences of just trying different strains, I found that the best thing for me to do was literally just start to record the interactions with cannabis that I had. And I did it for, probably like 6 months or whatever. I'll have to find the journal. I did it for like 6 months, and I literally would just write down everything, bro, from what it was. You know what I'm saying? If you wanted to put indica, sativa, hybrid, whatever, that's your choice. But I'd write the strain name, I'd write the smell, the taste, the high from start, middle to finish. You know what I'm saying? How the whole thing progressed, and you know what I'm saying, finished off, and bruh. I mean, and then when I started getting into terpenes, that's the other thing. So like a lot of people don't realize terpenes are super important. Like when you think about a terpene, like a terpene can be found in any and everything. You know what I'm saying? And the thing with cannabis is it shares a lot of terpenes that we're already super familiar with. You know what I'm saying? Like when you think of pinene, for instance, that's found in pine trees. You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's also found in weed. That's why you'll have those weeds that kind of have that piney smell. You know what I'm saying? What is it? Citronine or whatever. Again, found in like oranges and citrus fruits and stuff. Again, another terpene that's found in cannabis. And the thing with it is these terpenes play a lot more into your high than you realize. You know what I'm saying? So the actual things that taste good and smell good, like they smell and taste good to you because there's something in that strain that your body wants. You know what I'm saying? That's why you could take a strain, smell it, give it to your friend and be like, bro, this shit smells fire. And he's like, I don't know, it smells good, but it's not the best. You know what I'm saying? I don't think it smells as good as you do, and it's because there's stuff in that strain that his body's not necessarily doesn't care for. You know what I mean? So you start to really kind of like discover what works for you when you stop trying to, one, ask bud tenders because they don't always know shit. Like I said, I used to run stores. Part of my job was to make sure that products moved. And there was plenty of times where I would go into work, figure out what we had way too much of, and that was on sale, or that was what I would tell my bud tenders that they needed to push today. That was their favorite thing. You know what I mean? So stop doing that. Go in and know what you want. Be willing to shop. You know what I'm saying? You're spending your money, so don't let them push you out the door with bullshit. And then two, just doing your own research, man, and just kind of like I said, just being willing to trial and error. Like, not everything's gonna work for you, and some things will. And we don't really know exactly everything there is to know about cannabis to really give, accurate like suggestions like that. You know what I'm saying? And then again, on top of that, we're not doctors. So to sit there and be like, hey, this strain will fix or, cure this or solve this problem is not anything that I can, make a claim of. It's not anything I'm willing to make a claim of. And, yeah, that's all it comes down to, man, is just being willing to trial and error yourself. So that was my little tip and trick. Like I said, I just felt like a lot of people kept asking me kind of that same question. I kept finding myself writing that same kind of like paragraph to a lot of people. So I just want to throw it out there, man. A weed journal. Start a weed journal and, you know what I'm saying, figure out what works and what doesn't work for you. That's the best way to do it, man. That's the best way to figure out what it is that you want and don't want out of cannabis. Be willing to research these strains that you do like to figure out what terpene profiles they have, to really understand, and cannabinoid profiles as well. You know what I'm saying? To kind of figure out what it is that is helping you, you know? And then research these terpenes, research these cannabinoids. Like, it all comes down to research and being willing to stay on top of the research, because we are in such a point in time where we don't know everything and we're constantly learning and discovering new things. So yeah, I just want to throw it out there, man. It all comes down to you and what you're willing to actually do. You know what I'm saying? To wean yourself off of these drugs, to get on the cannabis full time, and make cannabis work for you full time, right? But yeah, man, it's just trial and error. That's the biggest thing about it, that people just are so scared of. It's trial and error. I won't lie to you. It's trial and error. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. If there's any other things that you guys kind of wanted to know, maybe you like these little videos. I got hella stories from the cannabis industry, at least from Colorado's cannabis industry, that, some things that I'll be willing to talk about. Some things, you don't want to ruin reputations of places, but, let me know what y'all think, bro. And if the weed journal worked for you, or you're gonna try it and you're gonna, let me know how it worked for you. Let me know what's good, man. Because I've had hella people try, especially when I used to work in the dispensaries, and I used to suggest that to a lot of people who were really coming in for real problems and was really trying to solve, some sort of issue with themselves with cannabis. This was what I always suggested them, and there was more than a handful of people who came back and was just like, bro, this was like one of the best ideas that I've had, or that I've heard, basically, about trying to like get onto cannabis and figure out what works for me. So I'm just curious to see, like, if any of you guys actually do try it out and it works. Let me know. If it doesn't work for you, let me know. I'm always down. And if you guys got any other tips or tricks or whatever that maybe I forgot to talk about, or maybe you want to like put me up on game on, let me know. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm always learning new things. Even not being in the industry anymore, I'm continuously and constantly always trying to learn more about it, because at the end of the day, cannabis is really one of my favorite things on the planet. It's one of my passions. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's just what it is. But yeah, man, I love you guys. Always stay positive. Always remember to live by them good vibes and shit, you know what I'm saying? Always remember to live your life high, honest, intelligent, genuine, humble. And look yourself in the mirror. Tell yourself that you're looking real good. And I'll catch y'all on the next one. After you living that way too. Peace.
I won't tell nobody. I won't tell nobody. I hear you talking when you sleeping, yeah. I know all your secrets, yeah. I know all your demons, yeah. I won't tell nobody. I won't tell nobody. I hear you talking when you sleeping, yeah. I know all your secrets, yeah. I know all your demons, yeah. My God, why you always worry about what I got? You're so insecure, it's my fault. Every time we fall now, it's in the dark. I don't have no energy, you are not my enemy. I know that you're really not the person you pretend to be. I cannot let the shit that you say get to me. You cannot run game on me, I am more invented. I thought